Hello, and welcome to my presentation, Leading a Team. My story begins in 2012 when I first began to seek full-time employment since I had left the workforce in 2005 to begin raising our family. I applied for and got a job at Sterling Primary Care as their medical coder. I was very excited about this position. However, I didn't quite know what I was getting myself into. My responsibilities included a lot more work than I bargained for. Sterling Primary Care had 14 providers, and I was responsible for coding all of the medical records, doing all of the charge entry, and doing all of the billing responsibilities, such as dealing with patients regarding their bills when they came in and returning patient phone calls as well. All of this for 14 providers in 2 different specialties. In early 2013, the need was identified for a new charge entry position. A position was created and a candidate was identified and brought on board. I finally had some help with the charge entry and we split the work right down the middle, and I continued to do all of the coding and most of the billing responsibilities. In 2014, the need for another charge entry position was identified. During this time, my original charge entry person resigned and 2 new charge entry people were hired. And my new manager gave me the responsibility of managing the billing team. I was so excited for this new challenge and really just had a lot of confidence that they had entrusted me with this task. And I knew that we could form it to create what was needed at the practice. One of the first things I did was to set goals. Several of the things that we talked about were meeting projections, reducing the past due balances on patient accounts, providing excellent customer service, and reducing provider errors. When our team was formed, I wanted to make sure that everyone knew the goals that we were working towards so that we could all be on the same page and have tangible goals to meet. Meeting projections involves entering the correct amount of claims every month to make sure we are going to meet the budget. And everyone was trained in customer service, so there was an expectation across the board about how our patients would be treated when they came to us with billing issues or any other issue they might have. After all, customer service is so important. Another thing was accountability. I wanted to make sure that the work was distributed evenly. I met with each team member to discuss the productivity and the goals and made sure they understood what they would be measured against. I also encouraged them to ask questions. If you don't know, always ask. And I also made sure they knew that they could not make a mistake so big that we couldn't fix it. I would rather them come to me with the mistake than to hide it. Accountability is so important because it makes sure that everyone understands what the expectation is and how they're going to be held accountable for that. And that was something that we started right off the bat. I learned many lessons while leading this team. The first lesson I learned was to be honest with your teammates. I can't tell you how many times I messed something up or did something wrong, and I would go to them and tell them that that's what happened. And I also would tell them things that I didn't know. I also wanted to make sure that everyone kept their eye on the goal, and also to create an environment where teammates know their voice is heard and their opinions are valued. I made it easy for them to fulfill their responsibilities. I wanted to make sure that they understood what their responsibilities were and what was expected. Another lesson I learned was always making sure that I was available to help whenever needed. It was something I did naturally because I had worked in the positions that my charge entry people held before, and so I knew what needed to be done and what it took. But I always made sure that I was never above helping them whenever they needed help with anything. I learned don't ask someone else to do something that you wouldn't do yourself. Another key thing I learned was how to identify the strengths of the people on my team and to use them. I remember a particular incident where one of my charge entry girls and I were trying to figure out how we were going to track something, and she suggested making an Excel spreadsheet. Well, I didn't have a lot of experience with Excel at that time. However, at her previous position, she had used Excel all the time and was almost an expert. So I delegated those responsibilities to her, and she loved being able to utilize a skill that she had learned somewhere else to benefit our team. All in all, it was a very learning experience. And I think that my experience in leading a team is what has motivated me and helped me discover those qualities within myself that make me a great leader and give me a desire to lead others through serving. Thank you.